Alrighty, wait, this is so fun. I love filming. I love doing this. Now, if only I could get paid for it. Guys, finding a job is really hard. I just made a new, like, iced coffee recipe inspired by Claudia Walsh's iced lattes that she makes. Let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to my booktube channel. It has been so long since I've sat down and filmed. Why am I kind of nervous? I feel like I'm on a first date. I haven't been on a first date since 2021. But anyway, it's wrap up time, people. It is July 28th, I believe. It is the end of July, which is crazy because it feels like July just started. But at the same time, it also feels like we've been in July for 5 years. So I don't really know what to think, but anyway, I did really well with reading this month and I'm really proud of myself. Even June was kind of an iffy month for me, mainly because I read Releasing 10 at the end of May and wanted to myself a little bit. It's fine. No, it's totally fine. We did really well with reading this month, you guys. I read a total of 7 books. So we're gonna get into it. Now, if you guys remember, I used a TBR jar to pick my TBR for July. So I have all of the prompts that I used and we're gonna go through each of them and I'll let you guys know if I read the book from the TBR or not, as well as the books that I didn't read that were from my TBR and a little bit about all of them and yada yada. Actually, no, I'm gonna go in order from when I read them and I'll find the prompt that matches. So the first book I read in July was Nocticadia by Kari Lake, and I chose this for my book talk fave prompt. I read Nocticadia by Kari Lake. This is a standalone, so you don't have to worry about reading a series, reading a book before this, reading a book after this. It was perfect. I rated this 4.5 stars. I really, really, really loved it. And I listened to the audiobook for this as well. The audiobook was so good. I believe it was duet narration. It doesn't advertise it on the front cover of the audiobook on Audible, but it was duet narration and it was so good. This book follows Lilia and Devrick. Mainly Lilia, obviously. In a couple of past chapters in the beginning of this book, you see Lilia go through something with her mother. In present time, a few years later, she gets the opportunity to study at this university called Dracædia University on Dracædia Island. And she takes that opportunity to learn and figure out what happened to her mother because Dracædia is the only place that she can find answers. And there she meets her professor, Devrick Bramwell, also known as Dr. Death, also known as Daddy Death. I loved this man with every fiber of my being. I loved him. He was perfect. And the vibes for this book were absolutely immaculate. It's like a dark gothic romance. So it has supernatural-ish themes and elements to it. This book, the vibes were immaculate. I loved this book so much. I rated it 4.5 stars, like I said. The tension and longing and forbiddenness between Devrick and Lilia was everything because it is professor-student. Oh my god, I just loved how smart Lilia was. She wanted answers to her questions and she got her answers. And I loved Devrick. He was so he was just, the broody professor. Everyone called him Dr. Death. Everyone stood away from him, yada, yada, yada. And the mystery in this story had me fucking hooked. The romance was everything. Do not get me wrong. Because of the tension and the yearning and the longing and the passion and everything like that. The romance had me. But the mystery in this book was so good. Because like I said, you are following the romance between Devrick and Lilia, but you're also following Lilia finding out all of these things and all of these answers to these questions that she has about what happened to her mother because she had no idea what happened to her mother. This book was so good. This book was so good. And like I said, it's a standalone. So it is long, but honestly, I could have read another whole book about these two characters. I love them so much. And the reason why it was 4.5 stars is because I felt like the end was a little bit rushed because I think there was only one chapter and it was the epilogue where we got to see the aftermath of solving the mystery. I kind of wish there was a little bit more, but other than that, I absolutely loved it. The plot was immaculate. The romance was everything. The characters were everything. I loved this book. 4.5 stars. It was amazing. The next book I read, I read Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent, and it was for the prompt, the cover that matches my shirt, because at the time when I picked my July TBR, I was wearing like a green sweatshirt, and this book is green. Well, it's black and green. But I did a whole review of this book on my TikTok, so it pains me to talk about it again, so this is Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent. It is going to be a series. I believe it's going to be a trilogy. I think it's Kiss the Villain, Hunt the Villain, and then something else. It is going to be a series, but this is kind of like a spin-off of the Legacy of God series, but you don't technically have to read Legacy of Gods in order to read this, but I highly recommend it because the main character of this book, as well as a whole scene from this book, you see in God of Fury, which is the second to last book of Legacy of Gods, and the main character you see throughout the entire series of Legacy of Gods. So I highly recommend reading Legacy of Gods also, just because it's just an immaculate series. But you don't technically have to read Legacy of Gods in order to read this. But this book follows Gareth and Caden, and it is another professor student. I didn't realize that I read 2 professor student books back to back until I was reading this one. I kind of forgot that this was professor student before I read it. I rated this book 2 stars, you guys. I did not like it really at all. Like I said, this book is professor student. Like, I don't even really know how to describe this book, because I'm telling you guys, for the first like 70% of the book, absolutely fucking nothing was going on. It was just back and forth between the 2 main characters for like the first like 65-70% of the book, and then finally in the last like 30-35% is when we actually got plot. But then it felt like everything was just thrown at you at once, and it was a lot of plot at the end to kind of make up for the lack of plot in the first like over half of the book. And Caden and Gareth just felt so copy and paste to Killian and Nikolai from Legacy of Gods. Killian and Gareth are brothers, and the way that Gareth is portrayed in Legacy of Gods, I wanted him to be that in this book, and he wasn't. He was exactly like Killian. And then a lot of parts of Caden and Gareth's relationship felt very copy and paste to Nikolai and Brandon from God of Fury. I was like, I really wanted something different with Gareth. I thought he was going to be the one Rena Kent MMC that I read about that wasn't exactly like all the other ones, but he was. And the same thing with Caden. Caden gave me nothing new at all. And also, I totally forgot the fact that this book was professor student, because there was no tension or forbiddenness at all. There was nothing forbidden about these characters. I'm telling you, the first 70% was all spice and no plot. And then all of the plot was thrown in at the end. And it was back and forth between these 2 characters because, like I said, it gave the same kind of vibes of God of Fury, where Gareth wanted to deny his sexuality and say all these things about himself, that he was straight, that he was this, that he was that. Kind of similar to God of Fury, like with Brandon and Nikolai. So that was literally the first 70% of this book, was this man having sex with this other man, but like, no, I'm straight. And it was just that over and over again. Spice and denial, spice and denial, spice and denial. For the first 70% of this book, I was like, where is this going? I give this book 2 stars. The only reason why this is 2 stars is because there were some elements of it that were cute. Like, I would say the ending, like the very end, the last couple chapters and the 2 epilogues I enjoyed because they were very cute. And the Killian, Jeremy, and Nikolai crumbs, those are the reasons why this book is 2 stars. It had nothing to do with the couple. But what I am excited about is to read Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. This is kind of, I believe this is starting like her new side to the Renaverse, because Rena Kent has a whole universe. You meet the main character for Beautiful Venom in this book, and I'm really excited to read Beautiful Venom. But anyway, I didn't like this book. 2 stars. I really wanted to, but it was too literally like copy and paste, and I didn't like that at all. 2 stars for Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent. I was really upset about it. After that, I read Spiral by Bal Cabra because I picked up a sports romance, this little thing from my TBR video. Hopefully you can read these. But I picked up Spiral by Bal Cabra. First of all, this book is so, like, this book is absolutely perfect in every sense of the word. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. It's super floppy. It's short. It's everything. This book was 4 stars for me. This is the second book in the Off the Ice series by her. The first book is Collide, and the third book comes out in October, I want to say, and it's called Revolve. This is the second one. I believe it came out in like January, but I'm just getting around to reading it now. But this follows Sage and Elias. Oh my god, this book was so fucking cute. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It's a ballerina, like a struggling ballerina, and a very famous like rookie hockey player. Oh my god, this was everything. It's fake dating as well. They kind of come to an agreement because they meet at this event that they both happen to be at, and she saves him from something. So at that point, or he feels like he owes her. They end up going out, seeing each other again, whatever. Like I said, she's a struggling ballerina and he's new to the NHL. So he's getting a lot of publicity and she's getting just the exact opposite of that. So she kind of comes up with the idea like, hey, we should fake date so people will leave you alone because they'll think you have a girlfriend, so you won't get as much publicity, and I'll be able to get more recognition because I'd be dating a famous hockey player, if that makes any sense. She was like, let's fake date. And at first he's like, nah. And then they do it. And then, oh my god, this book was so fucking cute. First of all, Elias Westbrook, I loved him in Collide because he is the best friend of the main character in Collide. And I was 100%, I knew I was going to be an Elias bitch. He did not disappoint in this book at all. He was so, like, he got her new flowers every single week until he figured out which ones were her favorite. When I tell you this man always cooked for her, he always cooked for her. She found herself in a predicament and had nowhere to live. He was just like, live with me. He didn't even ask her. He was just like, get your shit, you're coming with me. He was so fucking sweet. Not once in this book did I hate this man. Oh my god, I fucking loved him. He was absolute perfection. And I loved Sage. She was so funny. She was one of those characters that just like, she had a lot going on, but she was also constantly taking care of other people and not taking care of herself. And Elias finally like was just like, I know you can take care of yourself, but let me help you. Let me do something for you so you're not doing all of this alone. Oh my god, they were perfect. They were perfect. But Sage was so funny. She was one of those characters, like I said, that always had a lot going on, but she was always like making like snide and like dirty jokes. And at first it would make Elias blush because he was always very shy. Oh my god, I loved them. They were so fucking cute. I rated this book 4 stars. I loved Collide too. I rated that book 4 stars too. I'm very excited for the rest of the series. I literally read this book probably in like a day because of how short it is and how just bingeable it is. I ate this shit up. I ate this shit up. It was so fucking good. Ugh, that was everything. Next up, I did not read a book for my TBR. I think that was one of the last books I read for my TBR because the other ones were Wild Side, Just for the Summer, and Love Unwritten. I did not read any of these just because you know what? I have no excuse. I just didn't, okay? I just didn't. The next book I picked up after, it's hurting a little bit to talk about just because you know what? I'm just gonna show you guys. This is For the Fans by Nyla K. It is also a standalone, so you don't have to worry about reading a series. This book was 5 stars. This book was 5 fucking stars. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Okay, this book follows Kyron and Avi, and it is an stepbrother romance. Now, that might throw a lot of people off because they're just like, what the fuck? Why are you reading that? But hear me out. It was so good. These 2 characters meet when they're like 16, I think. Like, it's not like they were stepbrothers since they were kids and they grew up together. Then I could understand not wanting to read this book and thinking that shit is weird because it is. But they met when they were like almost done with high school, and they also never spoke to each other because they hated each other. Hated each other. Especially Kyron. Kyron hated Avi. They graduate high school. They go on to college, and a little bit into their college experience, something happens to the 2 of them. Some family financial situation comes up, and in order to make money, they start doing stuff together for the fans, man. For the fucking fans. Oh, this book was so fucking good. Now, like I said, I could understand not wanting to read this because you're just like, ew, stepbrothers, why? I could understand that. You don't have to read it if you don't want to. But god, Kyron and Avi, I would reread this book. That's how fucking good it is. I will say like 98% of this book is them in college. You don't even really see that much of them before they graduate high school because they never spoke to each other because they didn't like each other. I ate this shit up. It was so fucking good. It's stepbrothers, kind of a little bit of an enemies to lovers thing because like I said, they hated each other. And it's also so fucking opposites attract. Kyron is like the clean cut, like sandy blonde hair athlete. He's captain of the football team. Completely different from Avi. Avi is like the black skinny jeans, flannel, like longer dark hair stoner kid. Ends up being the football team's mascot. They were fucking everything. Oh my god. Another reason why I think someone wouldn't like this book is because it's very, very spicy, but it's some of the most like emotional spice I've ever read in my life. Oh my god, I loved Kyron and Avi. They were fucking everything. I can't even like put it into words how much I loved them. Seeing Kyron just like break down for Avi was everything because he was so hurt and closed off and guarded. And seeing him let Avi in was so, oh my god, it was everything. It was everything. I love them. I love them so fucking much. Like I said, I would reread this book. I would reread this shit in a heartbeat. It was one of those books where like I finished it and I was just like very tempted to just go right back to the beginning and start all over again. I will definitely eventually do that because first of all, there's an audiobook for this. Best believe I'm reading the audiobook, and I do want to go back and annotate it because I was so into this book when I was reading it that I didn't even stop to annotate anything because I was just like giggling, screaming, kicking my feet, wanting to throw up and fucking cry the whole goddamn time. This book was everything. 5 fucking stars. 5 stars. Not even a question. I knew this book was going to be 5 stars before I even finished it. I need to reread this already. Guys, I think I'm gonna make December be like my month of rereads because I really want to reread Boys of Tommen, and obviously I need to reread God of Fury, and I want to reread For the Fans. So I think December might be my month of rereads. I will throw in some other reads in there, obviously, but like I don't even care, and I'm counting it towards my reading goal. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, For the Fans, Nyla K. Standalone, 5 stars. Go fucking read it. If it's for you, it's so good. Next up, I read Madam by Sarah Kate. This is the last book in the Salacious Players Club series. I rated this book, what did I rate this book? 3 stars? I don't remember what I rated this book, oh my god. Yes, I'm wearing Christmas pajama pants. We're not gonna talk about it. But I put all my ratings in my computer. 3 stars, yes, okay. I rated this book 3 stars. It was good. Not my favorite in Salacious Players, but it was okay. It follows Eden, or Eden, I'm not sure, but we'll say Eden. What the fuck is her name? Jade, that's her name. Eden, Jade, and Clay. And basically, Clay used to be a client of Eden's, and now they don't see each other anymore. It's months later, and Clay has a girlfriend named Jade. And it's basically a story between the 3 of them. It was good. It was okay. There were parts of this book that kind of pissed me off. It also is a little bit of an age gap because Jade is in her like early 20s. I think she's like 23, and Eden and Clay are in their like early mid 30s. So age gap, and not gonna lie, some parts of this book just felt very immature to me. Like there were some parts of it where I was just like, why is the 23-year-old more emotionally mature than the 2 people in their mid fucking 30s? I don't really know what it is about this. It was just okay. It was one of those books where it's kind of like a palate cleanser. I read it mainly because it's the last book in a series that I hadn't finished yet, and I needed to get around to reading it, but it wasn't anything crazy. This is a very taboo series. It's all very spicy. All of the main characters have some sort of tie to this sex club called Salacious. The first 4 books, I believe, were about the owners of the sex club, and the last 2 books were about people that like go to said sex club. Like Eden basically works there, and the last book, Ronan, he was like an investor or something like that. Like they all attend said sex club and they all work there to some degree. So it's a very taboo series by nature. I will eventually rank and give a book breakdown for this series, but it was 3 stars. It was just okay. Not my favorite in the series, not my least favorite. I had some problems with it, obviously, like I said, but it was a good story. It was okay. 3 stars. It was a palate cleanser book. It did what it needed to do. It served its purpose. And yeah, that's about it. Next up, I'm not going to talk about this book too much because I literally posted an entire reading vlog for this book last week. We finished Magnolia Parks. Well, what's out of Magnolia Parks. There's still going to be more Daisy Hates books, but as of right now, we are done with Magnolia Parks. I read Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings, and this book was also 5 stars. I had 2 5 stars this month. Round of applause for me. This book was 5 stars. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you literally anything about it because I posted a whole fucking reading vlog for it. It's over an hour and there are quite a bit of spoilers in it. But all I'm going to say is Magnolia Parks, these books in particular follow Magnolia and BJ. This book in particular is more so BJ and Magnolia navigating their relationship after something very traumatic happens to Magnolia and to all of the characters, honestly, that you see in the previous Magnolia Parks book, which is The Long Way Home. So much happened in this book. Clearly, it was 700 pages. So much happened in this book that it pains me that there's not a Daisy Hates book out yet. But unfortunately, there isn't, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. 5 stars. Not going to tell you literally anything. I sobbed my eyes out, mainly because BJ and Magnolia mean everything to me, and this is the last book that I have of them. But we're not going to think about it. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to... Oh, my air just went off. Hopefully you can hear me better now. Guys, I want to plan a Magnolia Parks tattoo. I'm thinking either a bee or a deer, like a Bambi deer. Just because that's how BJ describes Magnolia. Anyway, the actual last book I read, I finished a couple days ago, and it is Red Card by Maren Moore. This, I believe, is a standalone, but I'm not entirely sure. I got this as an ARC, you guys. First of all, I just want to give like another thank you to Forever Publishing for sending me this book. Maybe I shouldn't swear. Sorry. They sent me 2 ARCs. This is Thrown for a Loop by Serena Bowen and Red Card by Maren Moore. I haven't read this book yet. I probably won't read it for a while because it comes out in November. But this book comes out August 12th. So I will tell you guys a little bit about it. I don't want to spoil anything, as well as I don't really know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But I will just say this book was so good. I rated it 4 stars, I believe, or 4.5. 4.5. I really, really, really loved it. This book follows Rory and Killian, and it's definitely like a kind of a good girl, bad boy situation. Not entirely. He's more so seen as a bad boy just because he has quite the reputation, and you know, it doesn't show it on the cover, but he's like tattooed and yada yada yada. And this is also a sports romance, but it's a rugby romance. Other than Boys of Tommen, I don't think I've ever read a book about rugby, and I wouldn't even really say that Boys of Tommen is a sports romance because it is so much more. It's so much more than even romance. But I've never read like a rugby book. So this is a little bit of Forbidden, Coach's daughter. She's also like the equipment manager. This girl lives and breathes rugby. Killian is this British bad boy who comes to America as kind of like a second chance to kind of make his rugby career because he did some stuff in London. We're not going to talk about it. But being in America, being at the school, playing rugby for the school is kind of his second chance. So this book is also not fake dating, but it is a little bit of like a deal arrangement situation. Rory finds herself very often in the friend zone because of the type of person that she is, or the type of person she thinks she is, which is like always surrounded by guys because she's literally basically the assistant coach of the rugby team. Her best friends are guys on the rugby team. She really only ever talks about sports because she grew up as the daughter of a single father who was a rugby coach. She's not very good at navigating situations with guys. So she suggests to him that they kind of strike up a little deal with each other. He will help her kind of figure out how to flirt and navigate relationships with guys and get out of the friend zone. And she will talk him up to the rugby team because they fucking hated his guts. So she was like, I will help you get in with this rugby team because they all love me. And you can help me get a guy or figure out how to get a guy. This book was so good. And that wasn't any spoilers because it says all that on the back. Yeah, she's tired of being friend zoned. She wants to get the guy. And to do that, she needs the frustratingly charming Killian to teach her. But the more time they spend together, the more lines begin to blur. This book was so good. I inhaled this shit. It was literally 24 hours that I spent reading this book. I started it and I finished it the next day. It was so addictive. I felt the chemistry between the two main characters, between Killian and Rory, right off the bat. Like, it gave mention of the fact that they were like intrigued by each other without moving too quickly. There was a lot of exposition in this book, which I really, really, really love. It was also kind of a slow burn, not gonna lie. Nothing happened between the two of them, I think, until like 200 to 250 pages into this book. And this book is like 300 pages. Oh, this book was everything. This book was everything. Honestly, this is another book that I would reread. It was so good. So like I said, it comes out August 12th. It is July 28th, like I said, when I'm filming this. So it comes out in 2 weeks. Go get this book. It was so good. But yeah, that is all. I've literally been filming for 40 minutes. Even though I didn't read a lot of books that were on my TBR, I still read a good amount, and they all kind of gave me something, you know? I feel like I got all aspects. I got really, really good books. I got bad books. I got books that were just okay. I feel like this was a really good reading month. So yeah, that was everything. That was all of the books that I read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm very excited for my August TBR. That will be the next video. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if you've read, if you have read, if you will read any of these books, what you think of them, if you hate them, if you love them, if you are indifferent towards them, whatever. I love you all so much. I need to go because I've been recording for 45 minutes. I love you all. And I hope you have an amazing day or night or afternoon or whatever time of day it is when you're watching this. For me, it is 1:47 p.m. I have yet to eat anything. This is the only thing that I've consumed so far. Bye-bye.